Hey, Courtney of Bhakti Wellness here. I'm in the absolutely divine Starlit Yoga studio here in Penticton this afternoon, and I just wanted to break down a forward fold that I've kind of gone back and forth with. Not so much love-hate, but sometimes it feels really restful and really easy, and then other days I feel like it's quite a challenge for me. And so I thought I would break it down and allow you to kind of draw your own conclusions as you incorporate it into some of your practices. I wanted to go through Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold, and I'll give a few different variations of this pose, and you can kind of do with it what you will. And that's the beauty about our practice, is that as we become more and more familiar with each asana, depending on how we're feeling any given day when we're practicing, we're able to adjust, we're able to modify, we're able to amp up or back off depending on how our energy levels are, how our muscles are feeling, how much sleep we had the night before, things like that, right? So for most of us, you'll want to be seated on something. Today I'm seated on a folded blanket, but if you have chip blocks or if you have just cushions to your disposal, then maybe you want to be up on a cushion. And then from here, you'll extend your legs out in front of you. Have the feet dorsiflexed or plantar flexion, so meaning the top of the foot's drawing towards the body and your heels are extending away from the body. Now, for some of us in this pose, we're quite tight in the hips and low back. So as soon as we start to stick the legs out, we start to collapse into the lumbar spine, losing our natural lumbar curve. And so if you find that that's yourself, I'd like you to bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. And you can work in this forward fold by having that release of the hamstrings, creating greater flexion into the hips. And then you'll bring your fingertips to the mat behind you and extend up through the crown of your head, okay? Now over time, you might be able to take your feet further away, and this is a really great modification, just so that you can really start to build some abdominal strength, because you're engaging through the lower transverse abdominals here so that we're not straining into the low back. Now, if it feels okay for you to have the legs extended straight out from the hips, then go for it, right? Again, plantar flexion, meaning the top of the foot drawing towards you, heels extending away. Start with the hands back behind you, okay? A couple of other options would be to start with a strap. If you don't have a strap, like a yoga strap at home, belts, straps off duffel bags, the kind of strap from your bathrobe, anything like that. You can get creative. You can even use a towel and just use that. You'll probably want it to be a thinner towel so that you can grip it well with your hands. But being in your home, you can get creative if you don't actually have yoga props, right? And then if you'd like to use the strap for a little bit extra, then you can strap it around the bottoms of your feet. So you start with those knees bent, and then you can start to extend. The reason why this is really nice is because you can apply traction onto the strap, and that's going to help keep this shoulder stacked over the hips, allowing for a really nice long straight spine. Okay, so this is a really beautiful way if you kind of want to bridge the gap between having knees bent, feet on the floor, and to having legs extended. All right, if you've chosen to have this strap in use, you can hold on to it either one in each hand, or you might have it in both, like both straps held in each hand, okay? In this, to help facilitate that lift through the sternum, to help keep the extension through the spine, I want you to think first of drawing below the navel and above the pubic bone, Uddiyana Bandha, your navel lock, in and up. That engagement of Uddiyana Bandha engages the lower transverse abdominals. And then I want you to think of applying a little bit of traction onto the strap and drawing the elbows by the side body. Okay, breathing here. Now, if you don't need the strap, don't need the bend in your knees, maybe your hands come by your sides. Now, this pose right here is called Dandasana, or staff pose. I like to use this as the bridge into our forward fold. Now, if you're using the strap, what you can start to do is walk your hands a little bit further down the strap. Now, I really want you to think of extension through the spine as you do this, drawing your heart beyond your toes, Okay, you might take an inhale to lengthen, exhale to hold. When you meet an edge where the body's really starting to risk your progression forward, pause, breathe there, okay? Now, if you're quite open, you'll extend your arms up, draw the shoulders away from the ears, keep engaging in and up through those lower transverse abdominals. As you inhale, think lengthen. As you exhale, think hinging from the hips. Inhales to lengthen, exhales to fold. Inhales to lengthen, exhales to fold. When you start to notice you're starting to round, maybe through the thoracic spine, the upper back, where the shoulder caps are rolling forward, I want you to pause. Now, some of you might be able to fold right over the legs, in which case you can have your hands on the outside edge of the feet. But some of us might have our hands resting on the thighs, the knees, the shins, maybe beside the legs or under the legs, okay? But wherever you are, I want you to think inhales to lengthen, exhales to hinge forward, extending the heart beyond the toes. If you're able to grab the feet, again, think of that traction. Think of drawing the elbows by the sides, scapula, your shoulder blades sliding down the back line of the body. Breathe. Now we're really working with extension through the spine here, so we're really trying to draw the heart forward. Now I want you to take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Just giving a message, a signal to the body that you're in a safe space. Yes, you're challenging your boundaries, your edges, but you're in a space that's safe. If you don't feel safe in this pose, definitely back out a little bit, readjust, maybe add some more props. On your next exhale, I'd like for you to bow the head, round the spine, allowing the shoulders, neck, and head to hang heavy. And notice how that changes the dynamics of the pose significantly. You'll feel this in different areas now. You might find a greater hamstring stretch. You'll probably feel a really nice stretch along the spine. And notice if your breath has changed at all. Try to have your inhales and your exhales nice, long, and smooth and soft. Try to keep space between your teeth. And on your next in-breath, you can start to roll up through the spine, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Beautiful. From here, you can lean back into your hands, shake, jiggle the legs. Maybe you want to draw circles with your ankles in one direction, then the other. Maybe you'd prefer to do a couple of seated knee drops once again. These seated knee drops are really nice because they allow for a little bit of flow of musculature and energy, but they also allow for a nice extension through the hip, leading, down into the quadricep of that top leg. So really nice counter pose. You might even find that you're looking for a little more extension through the front line of the body, in which case maybe you want to find your reverse tabletop. Now hands can, or fingertips can point towards your bum or behind, however feels best for your wrist. Plant the feet, lift the hips up off the floor. Now we didn't work into the shoulders much, so you won't want to go to your fullest expression. You might hold for a few breaths, or maybe you want to find a little bit of a pulse, okay? Another option, if you're quite open, would be to come into your reverse plank pose. So again, hands behind you. I tend to practice with my fingertips pointing towards my butt, but that might not serve you. Maybe hands away, and then you'll root down through the feet, lift the hips up. Again, keep an account that we haven't been working into the shoulders, so you won't want to go to your fullest expression of the pose. Anyway, I do appreciate you stopping by, checking out my videos, and exploring Paschimottanasana, your seated forward fold with me today. And I hope that wherever you are, you're finding a little bit of sunlight, even if it's cloudy. And do share your smiles with strangers. You never know when you might brighten someone's day. Enjoy the rest of yours, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much.